Mr. Lewison.
So these two bills will consolidate enforcement powers and offences under the SkillsFuture Singapore Agency Act, regulate abusive funding arrangement as well as offences relating to false or misleading advertising, and empower the SkillsFuture Singapore Agency to direct refunds for cancelled courses. This will create a centralised system and better support career development for all Singaporeans. I have 3 points of clarification on both bills. My first point is on the difficulty in determining the competencies, expertise, or skills to be advanced by a course or program. The new Section 57E amended by the SSG Bill will make it an offence to publish false or misleading advertising. This includes advertising on the curriculum, modules, or subjects to be covered, or competencies, expertise, or skills that will be advanced. There are good faith reasons for why curriculum, modules, or subjects to be covered may change after advertising for a course has started. The subject matter may have evolved, or the curriculum may need to adapt to the interests and proficiency of the class. The competencies, expertise, or skills that the course actually succeeds in advancing may also be fairly subjective. Can ministers share if the ministry intends to proactively monitor advertising by course providers? Or will the ministry rely on complaints by the public to identify potentially false or misleading advertising before intervening? Can minister also share if the ministry will provide guidance to course providers on best practices on advertising and managing communications with participants, especially on changes in course contents to avoid any dispute over false advertising in the first place? My second point is on identifying fraudulent claims at an earlier stage. In the case of Public Prosecutor versus Ng Cheng Kui, the prosecution described most of the fraudulent claims as having been automatically approved by SSG, and that only a small proportion of the claims were flagged for a manual check. Following this incident of fraud which occurred in 2017, the SSG announced in 2018 that it has strengthened its fraud detection systems using data analytics. This follows a recommendation of an interagency task force set up to review SSG's fraud mitigation capabilities. Given that it's been 4 years since these systems were introduced, can the ministry share how it is monitoring the effectiveness of these fraud detection systems? Can the ministry also provide an update on how effective these systems have been? My final point is on the incorporation of a deferred payment model. The Lambada School in California teaches information technology skills online and charges no tuition fees. Instead, students can agree to pay a percentage of their income after they are employed, and only if they are making more than $50,000 a year in the first 5 years. The deal is that students pay back 70% of their income from the first 2 years of their work. If earnings exceed $50,000 a year, with a cap of $30,000 of fees they pay in total. Otherwise, students also have the option of paying $20,000 in tuition fees upfront and keeping their future income. The incentive structure is clear. If the training institute does not impart transferable knowledge to trainees that result in a successful outcome, the institute will not benefit. Can ministers share if the ministry has looked into such a deferred payment model for certain SkillsFuture courses? If so, what are the ministry's findings on the usefulness of such a model in Singapore? So notwithstanding these clarifications, I stand in support of the bill.